Hello everybody, happy Thursday. The sun is shining. Hopefully it's not too cold where you are. It's been a chilly start here, no doubt. But I have got a lot of questions about the Whole30 and how I handled it when I was traveling last week and you know just how's it going and how are you feeling and can you do this while you're doing quarter fours and what about Shakeology? That's a common question that I've got from people. And well, I started, some people have got their messages from me and I started kind of compiling my responses to these. I figured this would be the easiest way to address it because I've been getting people who are saying, hey, I'm interested in this, but how do you, or what do you do if, and just have those questions. And I've got to say that it's crazy to me that this is day 25. I can't believe how fast it's gone. I honestly think it's been relatively easy. Now, I won't say that there haven't been, issues where it's been a little more challenging, but all in all, like I was eating healthy and clean before I started this. When I did make the commitment to do Whole30, my main goal in my mind was to rid the sugar. I was stuck in that sugar cycle and I just needed a reason to not have it other than the fact that I know it's not good for you. So that was really my driving force to finally commit to this and really just to say I've done it. Like I've had the book and I've thought about it and I never committed and my husband was on board, so we went for it. Now, I won't say that, I won't say this is something I'm going to stick to 100% going forward, but I can tell you the changes in my body and the way I feel far outweigh the taste of the cake. Like it really truly does. To wake up, and now like yesterday I snoozed for 30 minutes. So I won't say that I'm always hopping out of bed and feeling amazing and energized and ready to rock, but most days I am, more than before. And today the 5 a.m. alarm went off and, turned it off. I jumped into bed, I got dressed, I hit my workout, and I felt amazing. And it's, I'm listening to the It Starts With Food book, which kind of goes in line with Whole30. It's written by the same people, but it just goes to talk to you more about like the foods that cause problems and the inflammation. And like the one thing, like my wedding rings, which I will say I resized these wedding rings shortly after starting my whole clean eating, health, and fitness journey about 2 years ago. I already resized them once, and they, because of the lack of gluten and foods that naturally cause inflammation, like my rings are loose. Like there's times, especially when it's cold, that I could shake my wedding rings off. And it's crazy to me. It's all driven. It's not like I've lost a crazy amount of weight. Now, in the Whole30, they tell you don't weigh yourself because this isn't a weight loss program. So I've stayed true. I haven't weighed myself yet, although I can just tell in the way that my clothes fit that I've definitely lost a couple pounds. Nothing drastic, but it's the bloating's gone and my skin is clearer. I think that above anything else. A lot of my friends know I've struggled with acne issues forever. I've tried countless products. I think I've tried every skincare regimen that's out there. I'm currently using Rhodium Fields, which I do love, and I do think that that's helped. But even when I started using that, I was still getting breakouts. When I would get my period, I would still get a breakout, and like they're gone. Like, and I know that like for me, dairy causes breakouts. That's something that I've noticed more as I've paid more attention throughout the last couple months. But like now that I've been completely without any dairy or gluten, like my skin's clearer, and like that time of the month came and went and I didn't get crazy breakouts like I've done before. And it's crazy how what you think that you go through, that like the sacrifices you make when you eat bad foods. Like that, like I know dairy is going to make me break out. I know that gluten will make me look like I'm 3 months pregnant. I know that I'm going to eat sugar and get a sugar rush and get a headache after. Like I know those things, but yet I still find myself before falling into that trap and still doing it, where this time I haven't. In 25 days, I've stayed true, I've stayed strong. We had donuts with mom today at Aubrey's school. I didn't eat a donut. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I was still there with her. That was the point. That was the time together was the most important thing. So I just don't feel deprived. I thought that I would see things. I was traveling last week. I did stock up on a lot of bars, which obviously aren't ideal for Whole30. It's best to eat, just in general, it's just best to eat whole foods opposed to processed and anything. But there are some bars that were better than others. I used the RX bars, the Lara bars, Epic bars are like a jerky type thing. So I had those on hand, and I used those when I didn't have better food options. Lucky for us, where we stayed, a Whole Foods was really close by. They had a paleo section, which paleo's somewhat similar to Whole30, but I was able to get foods there that didn't have any of the added junk in them, that they were fresh, natural, great foods. So it wasn't, I had to be a little bit more picky about what I grabbed. It wasn't easy to just run out and go grab something, or, when we went and ate dinner, and I had to read the menu and scour the menu and think what would be the least, the most Whole30 approved. And luckily, like, there's options there. Like, I won't say that, hello, Stacy. I won't say that there weren't, like, we sat down at this Italian dinner and they put a big bowl of bread and butter in front of me. Like, yes, it smelled amazing. But in my mind, I know what it tastes like. I don't need to have it. Like, I know that it's good, but I also know that my body doesn't need it. And it was pretty easy to just say no thank you. Definitely helped that while I was traveling, a lot of the other girls that I was with are doing Whole30 too. So it caused definitely a little bit less temptations in that regard. But going into it and determining when I was going to start, one thing that was limiting me was the fact that I was traveling, and how was I going to make it work. And tell you make it work when you want to make it work. You find things, you prepare, just like you do anything else, and it really wasn't bad at all. A lot of you have also asked about how this compares to quarter force meal plan and the portion containers. The one thing with Whole30 is it's not a portion focused thing. The whole thing is you eat your 3 meals, limited snacks, and you do have a post-workout meal. That's where I usually have my Shakeology. And it's more geared towards eating 3 full meals, less on portion, more on eating until you're full and satisfied. Because I've done the portions for so long, like my servings are still in line with portions. If I want a little bit more, I would do a little bit more. I think I've definitely had more fruit than I usually do. I've had fruit with most of my meals. It's also a quick, easy snack to take with me. But from a portion standpoint, I'm still eating similar portions. And some people are like, oh, but there's no yellows on Whole30. You can still have sweet potatoes and red potatoes and white potatoes on Whole30. Those are all still approved. So I still made sure that I was getting my carbs in, because quarter force workout program is intense and you do need your energy. And while you can get that energy through your proteins and through your healthy fats and fruits and vegetables, I did feel that I needed to make sure that I kept in some potato. So I had sweet potatoes most mornings, and that's definitely helped keep my energy up. But it's definitely not in line 100% with quarter force, but I've just kind of intertwined the two and made it work. I did each week on my blog, I had a Whole30 meal plan and then a quarter force regular meal plan, just to share with my customers. But also you can see by looking at the two, they're not that different. Like, they're really very closely in line. And while I know some people are like, oh, but you drink Shakeology and that's not Whole30 approved, I realize that there's stevia in Shakeology. It's not technically allowed in the Whole30. But my whole mindset and approach to this was I wanted to, prove that I could do it and follow a limited restricted nutrition plan. And the other thing was, I had my own predictions and thoughts on what was causing me to break out or what was causing me to bloat, and it was that dairy and it was the gluten, but I had no reason to fully cut it out. So that was my main reason of cutting those things out and sticking to Whole30, where with Shakeology, like, I know how that affects my body. It is no secret. I know how it feels. I know that through Shakeology and my clean eating and exercise and everything, while it's not a cure in any way, shape, or form, don't get me wrong, but when I made those changes almost 2.5, close to 3 years ago now, I was able to drastically change my own problems and struggles with Crohn's disease. And while it's not a cure, it helped me immensely. And I personally was not willing to give up Shakeology because I know how much it's benefited me and made me feel. So yes, I still drink my Shakeology every day. No, arguably it's not 100% Whole30 approved, but I don't feel that I'm cheating on my Whole30, and I don't feel that I'm breaking any major rules. But I was doing this for me, not necessarily to submit a Whole30 application saying I completed it 100%, but I wanted to do it and know that I was making changes and seeing how foods affect my body. And in my mind, Shakeology wasn't one of the foods I needed to really test and figure out, where the gluten and dairy was a little bit more higher on my list. So yes, I did still include it. Say I didn't complete it 100%, but I definitely won't be cutting it out, and I don't feel that I'm getting any worse results. I definitely have felt the true effects of still alive. I am still alive, and I just had to ignore my husband's phone call. I'll have to call him back. And then the only other thing I wanted to touch on was just there is a transition period. So if you're thinking about doing Whole30, they actually recommend that you don't do Whole30 in combination, leading up to a holiday, which I end the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So I kind of didn't follow that tip of advice. It's really more of like a whole 40, a whole 45 when you follow the transition period. But as we've talked about it, we will I do not plan on sitting down Thanksgiving Day and indulging in everything that I've avoided for the last 30 days. I will pick and choose, which most likely will be some form of a sugar sweet treat on Thanksgiving Day. But the Whole 30 book comes with amazing recipes. There's an entire Thanksgiving dinner meal in there. And I plan on just following it as best I can. I've learned through this that the food's amazing. You don't have to sacrifice taste in any way, shape, or form to be able to stick to and enjoy wholeheartedly the Whole 30. It takes planning. It takes probably more planning to do this than it did the 21-day fix or do a portion fix container system, because there's such little grab and go. You've got to plan, you've got to have, everything prepped and ready for the week. So it's taken more time, but the flavor's been amazing. I made a cauliflower mash that used coconut cream, which if you've never done is pretty nifty, but the flavor's been great. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, and I'm just going to make my own tweaks and things to the Thanksgiving meal and still be able to sit down and enjoy the family and the company and enjoy some splurge, some sweet treat. But I will definitely be introducing things slowly, because by no means do I want to undo everything that I've just worked for the last month. That wasn't the point. The point was to make a change, see how it feels, and I'll be honest, I love it. So if you've been thinking about it or you have questions, by all means, you can ask me. It's definitely something, if you do struggle with, any sort of autoimmune disorder, this is something that, they talk about in the book a lot that can really help you overcome or kind of reduce your symptoms or, get through those things. I know what it's like to struggle with an autoimmune disorder, and nutrition is key. So that's all I got. I got to go pick up my one little munchkin from preschool and the other from kindergarten. So I'm out, but I hope you all have a wonderful day and talk to you soon.